Welcome to the kitchen. So I've had a wonderful day. I have gotten up. I have gone for a walk around the track with a friend. We met up at the Y and it's free there. Super, she found out. So we got to walk. I filled my car with gas. I know that's a bonus. I actually went to the grocery store instead of click and collect, and then I was like, I'm hungry. I need to eat. But I'm super excited because I'm just like, you know what? I can make something basic at home. So I'm just making butter chicken. And this is what I normally do. These are the things that I do. And I'm just coming on here. I know this is like, broadcasted to several groups. So just so you know, this is what I normally do on my like VIP virtual kitchen group. But I just kind of walk you step by step, have a conversation with you. And that's my job as an Epicure consultant, is giving you ideas. And you know what? The great thing about it is this is super healthy, and I'm a nutrition science grad. So I'm making butter chicken, and I'm going to show you how quick it is, and I'm going to give you some timing tips. So stay tuned, keep watching, or watch the replay, and I'm going to give you some tips on how to save time in the kitchen regardless of what you're cooking. So pay attention. There's a lot of this Jeopardy mind, and I throw it at you, and just grab some of the tips, and you might be using them, whether it's butter chicken or how to save time in the kitchen. So here we go. We're making butter chicken, and look at putting it aside. Why? Because I want to pair it with rice. I also just walked through the grocery store and this was on sale. I love the garlic naan bread. So if you don't want rice, you can actually put it on a bed of veggies. You can do all those kind of cool things, but I'm actually going to make some rice. I'm going to show you how quick it is, but there's a reason why I'm doing this. So if you don't have time, you can use some naan bread and just dip it and scoop it, okay? Or I'm going to make some basmati rice. The reason I'm doing this, time saver number one, is that it does take a while to cook rice. I'm sure you've noticed. You can do this on the stovetop, but I'm gonna show you in this steamer. I don't even know if you guys can see that. Maybe you guys can see it a little bit better now. So I'm just gonna show you how quick it is, but this actually takes the most amount of time. Your rice does. So I'm just gonna open up some basmati. Woo! It's confetti! So I'm just gonna open that up, and I'm gonna do 1 cup of rice. So this is basmati rice. I do like basmati rice for how fluffy it does get. So I'm going to fill 1 prep bowl full of rice without trying to put confetti rice all over the floor. There goes a couple more. Okay, well, hopefully that goes. So you're going to put 1 cup. So see that prep bowl? Maybe I'll just pull this over here for you. 1 cup. In it goes, okay? That steamer. And then what you're going to do is you're going to take 2 cups of water. So fill that up. So it's just a 2 to 1. If you don't have, if you have a mug and you want to do that, grab a mug. There's a 1. Fill it up to the top. This is a little forgiving, so I actually do a little bit more because I like to make sure that there's enough. And you can always drain it. I'll show you how after. So there's that. If you want plain rice, A-okay, ready to go. If you want to throw some butter in there, make it creamy so it doesn't stick at all. It's not going to stick to this, but you know that rice, it sticks because of that carb. If you want to flavor it, we're going to take our Nourish, which is the same as chicken. So I'm going to, if you peel it off, you can actually see it's right up to the top. It's not like a bag of chips. It's right up to the top. So we're going to take 1 tablespoon. So this is our 4-in-1. There's a tablespoon, teaspoon. On the back is half a teaspoon and 1/4 teaspoon. So I'm just going to actually dig that right in. It fits right into that jar perfectly. I'm going to shake it out because there's a lot at the top. And then I'm just going to sprinkle that in. If you want, you can stir it up like this. That's it. There's going to be a lot of water in there. Don't worry. The rice is going to soak it up. Okay? I'm going to put that lid on. Put the lid on the steamer. And then we're going to microwave this thing with the lid on. Okay? And there's a seal here. Woo! And so you're going to notice here, there's actually wider sides on the square steamer. And it's actually wider. So I call those the handles. What we're going to do is we're going to put that lid on, make sure it fits in there's a little lippy thing, so it actually fits in really good. And then we're gonna put those vents away from our hands. So all we're gonna do is, and don't forget, this takes you half the time. I'm sitting explaining everything. 18 minutes, set it and forget it. Now your rice is gonna be ready on time, because it's a shame when you start cooking and then you know what happens. You're like, what am I gonna do with that? If you forget the rice, that's okay. You can use the naan bread, or you can even, if you really want, you can actually just take boiling hot water if you have a kettle boiled, and you can actually put like rice noodles in, like the pad thai noodles. It's a quick fix for if you forgot. But this is a quick way of actually making butter chicken. So as our butter chicken states, makes 8 servings, and then anything in bold is your ingredient list. So I've got our ingredients here. We've got coconut milk. We've got an onion, chicken. I don't have tons of chicken right now. But and we have crushed tomatoes. I actually choose, if you always watch me, the no salt added, because I add salt at the end at the table. That's how you can control things when you're thinking about added salt, added sugar. I know we hear a lot of added sugar for kids, but when you're an adult, it's not just the sugar, or it's salt that you do need to like kind of think about and start looking at your cans. And you'll notice with Epicure, they are sodium and sugar conscious, just so you know. So that's one of the cool things about that. So it says, melt 1 tablespoon of butter, the instructions are on the back too, in a large frying pan over medium-high heat. Saute 1 large diced onion, stir in the seasoning, coconut milk, crushed tomatoes, about half a cup, and bring to a boil. Then we're gonna add in the chicken, reduce heat, and then we're gonna add some yogurt in at the end. So I'm just gonna prep first, because I made this before. We're gonna take our ceramic. This is not plastic, but it feels like it when it comes to weight. If you have wrist problems, I highly recommend using the ceramic. They are sharp though. Do not give these to kids and think that they are plastic. They feel like plastic. They are not plastic. Just a tip. So we're gonna take that all off. Here's another tip, onions. You're probably like, no. Okay, so there's 2 things. If you have a fresh onion, super awesome. I love fresh onions. They do actually weirdly give me headaches if you fry too many of them in my home. So we're gonna rinse this. I don't know if you hear the water running. Rinse your onion. Sorry, just gonna get a cat off my counter. He loves making debuts in my kitchen. It's just an attention-seeking behavior. Have any of those? Cats and kids, tell me. Okay, so we're gonna actually just chop these up because I wanna have this ready to go. But I've got my wok there. I love the Epicure wok. I just actually had somebody host and they actually got this half price. That's the best way of getting it. This is over like 13, 14 years old. Still the same one, still nonstick. So I'm going to actually turn this on, start getting it hot, because if you watch my videos, you'll know that my stove is, maybe you should call her loosey-goosey. She's like hot, cold, and you know what? She works hard, but sometimes, you know what? Just don't know if, you know, I got enough heat, and it's just constantly a problem because I don't get that even heat that you would in a gas stove. So I'm just chopping these quick things up. Those are my quick things, but if you really want, you can, I like this because it's serrated too. You can see that, there you go. So you can actually saw it, and we're gonna use the same knife, or you can actually just chop, and it does a really good job of both. So if you want like the one kind of stop shop knife where you're just grabbing stuff and you need to do it quickly, there's another reason why, whoo, gonna cry, and it's not because I'm sad. Okay, so that's going hot. I'm gonna grab some, there's supposed to be butter in here. Let's hope there's still butter in here. There is still butter in here. I'm just gonna take, you know what, I'm gonna take my spatula because I'm gonna be using it anyways, and if you guys know me, you know that I do not like doing dishes. So I'm gonna take, my youngest bought me this because she knows that I love soft butter. So I'm gonna take about 1 tablespoon. And the great thing, and then I have it covered, so it stays fresh. So we've got that butter going in there. I'm gonna get that nice and warm. Look at that. I threw that right here. Hopefully you guys can see it. Maybe I should turn on the lights a little bit more. There we go. Maybe you guys can see me better. So I actually threw this right here because it's silicone. It actually does not burn. So super awesome. We've got that butter already melting. And if you set and forget it, if that was a plastic one, you know what I'm talking about. It's gonna melt and it's gonna stay there and it might get it into your food. This silicone is made for actually dealing with all of the heat. And so now I've got that butter. I'm gonna turn that baby down only because I gotta get it to a medium heat. Here's this other thing about our cutting boards. I don't know if you guys are gonna even notice. Dump it so it all goes in and you don't have to worry about it being on a board. We do have board ones, but I like this because they're just a little matte. I've used these for years and I feel like I should always be like, I should get new ones, but I'm like, they work and there's like no holes in it. So I just like it because you can like, shh. And even if you're doing vegetables, so chopped vegetables and you want to freeze them, like say green peppers or something, what you end up doing is you just go whoop, and you actually just fold it and pour it into the Ziploc bags. Just another tip. Okay, so we got that going. We've got it on medium-high heat. I'd like to say it's medium-high heat, but do not take my stove or microwave for being the strongest, most powerful things. So we're gonna actually sweat those onions a little bit. And the other thing we can do is we can actually just put that lid on. It's clear, I'll be able to see inside. So we go back to the thing. We got that onion. Stir in seasoning, 1 can of coconut milk. Here we go. And it says $3.98, 400. We can deal with the 2 milliliters, right? I think. And then half a cup of crushed tomatoes. So here we go. You guys know that I do not. So I'm going to use that water and rice thing, and I'm just going to actually pour, because we actually have on the prep bowls. I don't know if you can see that. There we go. Half. So I'm going to actually just pour some in there, and then I know I have the exact same amount. So we've got those ingredients, but don't forget, we have that chicken. So we went from vegetables to meat. You can do that. Once you touch meat, please do not use this again, please, at all. So if you're now making a veggie tray, switch this up, clean that up, okay? Don't use the same. So I've got fillets and some fillets in here, so I know they're fillets, so this is semi-solid, and that's why I like it. I kind of have to frost my chicken, and then you can actually slide. If it's really solid, it doesn't work so well, I'm telling you from experience. But here, I'm just gonna pull this apart, and they were all fillets, so I just pulled them off of when I was doing chicken breasts, so I'm actually having chunks of chicken anyways, and you can pull them apart, kind of like almost like cheese strings kind of thing, and they're semi-solid, not totally rock hard, but we've got some chicken going there. I probably could do with another breast, but that's all I have on hand. So it's gonna be a very saucy kind of thing. Got those onions going, right? And then I'm just gonna take our prep scissors, and I'm gonna get this ready, because once those onions are done, we are going to just put in the seasoning. And then I've got, don't forget. So I'm gonna put this knife here. We're done with that, baby. I'm gonna put this chicken over here. Don't worry, this is not hot over here. You've got the can of coconut milk ready to go, right? We've got the seasoning. We'll put you baby here. And I'm gonna stir these onions around. They are not clear yet. You're looking for more of a clear, not white, to know that they are kind of sweated out, but it's okay because they're still gonna be, the best way to do it is making sure that they're more clear, so that they're not as hard and they're really, really soft. So don't forget, we're just gonna see if this will just pour out with the lid still on. And we're gonna just do half a cup, right? And the great thing about cooking compared to baking is it's not an exact science. So if you do a little more and a little bit less, it usually doesn't make a difference in cooking, just usually baking. So we've got about half a cup here, and then we're just gonna actually put that off to the side. I know my stove is not gonna push that dish out. Maybe I'll just hold this way. We've got 9 minutes left on the rice, that's right. So you're looking at butter chicken here. I've got the onions in here, if you forget. We got the seasoning. So these onions are almost sweated out and cooked just in a little bit of butter. Nice, if you wanna use olive oil or a different oil, welcome to it. Go ahead. Obviously with a buttered chicken, why not put a little bit of butter in it, right? So we're gonna get that butter flavor going in the onions, and that's it. So you're just gonna, the smaller, you can chop them finer, just so you know. And so then we're just gonna do this. So the instructions are, we're gonna do saute 1 large diced onion, stir in seasoning, 1 can of coconut milk, and half a cup of crushed tomatoes. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna actually put the liquids in first. Let's see if we can get that going. Oh, I hear you. Here we go. And that's a lot of the fat on top. I don't know if you guys can see this. I'm gonna put this in, and woo! So with coconut milk, you'll find it's okay. I know you guys are probably like, if you haven't had coconut milk, just come out of the can like that. It's really high in fat, polyunsaturated fats, right? Is it poly? Whatever today. Okay, so we've got this going on, and maybe I'll just give you guys a little look-see so you guys can see what's going on in the actual, there we go. So can you guys see that? Perfect. So we've got that coconut milk, we've got the onions, and then we're gonna put in there that tomato sauce. That's gonna make that, you know, orangish color now. So we've got red and white. And as you can see, this actually is a spatula at the end. And so this is a steel core, but then this actually, you can actually, I'd say actually way too much. You can push down, okay? And it will help to scrape out any of the containers, whether it's cans of tomatoes, the coconut milk, or getting every last drop of those ingredients. So I'm gonna actually get this cooking a little bit more and getting that mixed around. Now you can see that color. Hopefully you guys can see. guys don't have to look at me. So you can see the color starting to deepen once we're mixing it with the yogurt. And then we're gonna put that seasoning in, because that's what Epicure is known for, is bringing those really basic ingredients to life. And I just keep this package because I have a brain injury, so I forget things all the time. And so we've got that going, and then we're gonna bring to a boil and then throw in the chicken. Okay, so you guys can probably see me. I feel bad when it's like only half my face. It's either all or nothing, Sandra, all or nothing. So we're gonna stir this around. Now you can see a lot more. It's more rich in color. We've got more deep, a little bit of an orange, but red. So this is where we're getting that. And so we're gonna bring this to a boil. And as you can see now, I'm scraping that with our spoon, spatula. I love that. So now I'm gonna bring this to a boil, and you have now just made your butter sauce. So when you're looking at, if you don't want to put in chicken, you can put in tofu, you just have it veggie style. Sometimes what I do is afterwards I throw in just broccoli florets. So just, that's what I do. I do actually like vegetables on top of it. I'm not saying that's authentic, but I do believe that I love, I don't know, I just feel like it's almost like a stir fry. So we're gonna thicken this up as it's going, and don't forget, we're gonna bring this to a boil, because that's what's gonna make it even thicker. So you're probably like, wow, that's like very liquidy. And the more that you don't have to do a hard rolling boil, this is not jam, but once you start thickening it up, it'll give that nice thick consistency. The longer you do it for, though, is the thicker it will get. That's yes, but once it actually cools, it'll get a little bit thicker anyways. Plus, you still need that moisture. So if you make it too thick and you boil off a lot of the extra moisture, it's not gonna go as far. So I like it really thick, but you can kind of get away with, like, economically, if you do it less and it's a little bit more drippy, not as thick, it stretches further. So everybody had buttered chicken, it just might not be as thick. Now, if you are a singleton or a retiree, or you're on your own, or a student, this might not matter as much, and maybe you don't want butter chicken 3 days in a row. If that's true, this freezes very well. So we've got that going on, and I'm just gonna make sure that this goes to a boil. And look I can just put that there. This is not gonna burn. Okay, we got simmer, and we got to a, where's my boil? I want a boil. So we've got that boiling, and then don't forget, that's gonna help that chicken cook really well once we get that to a boil. If it is frozen, it's gonna take a tiny bit longer for that heat to penetrate through and get it fully cooked. So if you have fresh chicken, A-okay. If you have frozen chicken, you might wanna add a little time to it. So here we go, we've got that nice kind of simmer slash boil going. I kind of wanna make it a little bit, just come on. Okay, so we got it to a boil. I want to get the bottom. So don't forget, the tomatoes do have sugar in there. It is possible that those sugars start burning on the bottom because you didn't stir it and distribute the heat. Then, right? Okay, so here's where this gets good again. We can just slide this in, right? And then no touchy, and you still haven't touched the chicken since you cooked it, or since you chopped it. So now we're gonna actually get this, and don't forget, once you add something cold or room temperature, it's gonna reduce that heat in the sauce. So you're gonna wanna bring that chicken back up to that almost boil, just even for a second. That's my safety thing of just trying to make sure that it's cooked well enough, because you are lowering the temperature. You just dropped like an ice cube in your drink. You know what happens, right? So, and then let's just see. We're gonna reduce to low and simmer for 10 minutes or until cooked. So I'm gonna reduce to low. I'm gonna do low medium because, you know, Betsy here, you know, she's got a lot of miles on her, and she's trying hard, but she's a tired gal. So I'm gonna try to get this going and keep that just still cooking for 10 minutes. I really still want to kind of see a little bit of a simmer, because that's me. And we've got 2 minutes and 50 seconds left for rice. That's it. You've got your chicken. If you really want to throw veggies in like me, I always love throwing veggies in and then kind of make it into a stir fry, go right ahead. If you forgot the rice, now's a good time to go, you know what? Do I have any naan bread? And it freezes really well too. So now we just get to simmer it. And I have this confetti rice that I get to clean up, or woo! Yeah, you made butter chicken, and you know what? way less heavy than having to grab those jars. And then you might want to turn on the back and see on your jar label what is really in there. So go look at the ingredients, go look to see if they've added sugar. So glucose, fructose, any kind of sugar involved in the ingredients. And then on top of it, go look to see if, hey, did they have much salt? So I'm gonna give you here, so prepared, so don't forget, because there's actually natural sodium in some food products. We've got sodium, 25 milligrams in this dry package, like the entire dry package. And then once you add like the other things in, and they're assuming crushed tomatoes, they usually assume that you'd hope, but I'm assuming that they would have it. So they're basically saying 5% for 1/8 serving, right? Because this makes 8 servings, 1/8. So they're saying only 5% of your sodium intake is in this sauce. So once you pair that, and you've got a chicken and you've got rice, if you want to throw in the broccoli as well, super awesome. What else should we highlight here? Prepared without the broccoli, it actually even has 7% fiber. So you're getting some fiber in here, and then you know what? With the chicken, or without the chicken, it's 0.3 grams, but they don't actually explain how much protein is in the chicken because it depends on how much you're gonna put in. So super awesome. Obviously, it's way easier when it comes to sodium control, sugar control, and as well, just making sure that you know what, you're controlling the ingredients. Once you control what's going into the dish, because once the jars hit, if you go look at jars, anything jarred sauces, you're going to notice there's a lot more than you yourself would be putting in if you just had a blend of spices. So this makes it easy. You get the blend of spices. You don't have to buy like 5, 6, 7, 8 spices and like, oh, 1/4 of a teaspoon here, 1/4 of a teaspoon here. Who does that? And then you have to throw out the spices. That's why Epicure, as much as people go, I'm like, gluten-free, sodium salt conscious, but then as well, you don't have to have a collection of spices. This makes it, you just let us do all the mixes, and then you know what? You know that you can trust to make a really healthy, delicious dinner. So, in 18 minutes, voila, we've made dinner. 20 minutes or less. Woo, super hot. Now what? As I'm making a mess, welcome to my kitchen. So, if I wanted, I could have put a plate under here. I'm just lazy. So, this is what it goes. As you can see, the steam. Another tip that everybody knows, if you actually, a person that puts on luxurious lashes, I'm gonna stir this, or if you feel like you need a steam facial, this mechanism can also do that. It really can. So watch this. When I open this up, it's gonna be super hot because it was in for 18 minutes. If it's a couple minutes, it doesn't get this hot. I'm gonna grab this out and watch the steam. Do not put your face over it. Same as putting your head in an oven. Watch that glue, baby. That's right. I can't do it. I would do it if I didn't have my lashes on. So I'm just gonna show you. There we go. We've got some chicken flavored basmati rice. It would be white if it wasn't. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you, we can fluff this up, and it used up all that water, even that extra stuff. So I always like adding extra because I don't like crunchy rice. So you're just gonna do that. If you want, you can add a little bit of butter so it kind of slides off and it doesn't stick, because we know from, let's go here. I'm just gonna, teaspoon, we're gonna use this, the other side of it. If you add some butter, which, come on, we're making butter chicken, it'll help curtail those. I'm gonna get this out of here because same thing, I can use it like a spatula. Adding the butter to your rice, even though it's adding fats and calories, you don't have to be concerned unless you have some health issues or you have some goals of that you're, but a butter in the basmati actually helps not just with flavor, but the starches want to stick together. So adding butter at the beginning actually helps it so that your rice doesn't stick. And even if you needed to, you can add it at the end, and then it makes it so that your rice doesn't become a clumpy mess, especially as well after you've let it sit. So definitely fluff up your rice. I'm gonna give you a kind of a look-see. So don't forget, this is chicken flavored basmati rice, right? So you're gonna have that. And the reason I did it in the big, large one is I do find that the longer it stays in there, don't forget that was 18 minutes in my old Betsy here. 18 minutes means that it does get hot, but as well, the water super gets hot. So imagine it's almost like a boiling pot of water. You don't want to have everything at the top when it's cold, because once it'll start splashing and there will be some spillage. So I always use the biggest one possible. As much as you can do this in the small rectangular ones, just for cleanup purposes when it's in there for 18 minutes. If it's minute rice, that doesn't happen as often because you're not leaving it in there for as long. So that's another tip about using steamers, or even the volume of the container you use when you're actually pretty much boiling the water in the microwave with the product. If it's in there for a long time, you're going to want a lot of space because that reaction is going to be bigger. So you don't want to be crowding it, because then it's just going to blow off the lid, whether it's a casserole dish or a steamer. So added some butter just in case, so that I can, you know, just make sure it stays fluffy and it doesn't clump together, because I'm going to be putting this in a container, and I'm going to have some lunch, but I'm also going to use it for lunch tomorrow as well. And then it also freezes really well. So if you want to do, you know, a rice on the bottom and then put some of this on top, super awesome. And now you know how easy it is to make butter chicken, because you don't need the jars. You just need an onion, can of coconut milk, some tomatoes or tomato, you know, puree, and our seasonings. You don't need the whole, you don't need to get the jars with tons of salt, tons of sodium. I highly, highly recommend it. And don't forget, this goes a long way, and you can really, really stretch your dollars when, you know what, you can kind of control or make it, if you want it like a little bit more mild, put some extra coconut milk or put some extra crushed tomatoes in. No problem. So you can play around with it a lot more, and you never, like, it's still going to be matching that flavor. So that's how you make butter chicken. I hope you guys are having a fantastic Sunday, because I am. And it was really nice kind of getting to come on here live and see you guys again. I hope to see you guys in person. Let me know if you have any cooking queries, or you know what, you want to have a cooking class. Absolutely, let me know. And if you need anything, I'm here to serve.